Aaron Kaufman, recognized for his outstanding mechanical talents and trademark beard, was a key reason Fast and Loud became a success. But after 14 seasons, he took the shocking decision to leave everything behind. So, what happened? Stay in as we look into why he left the show that made him famous. Aaron Kaufman's passion for machinery began when he was a child. He was interested in anything with an engine, moving parts, or making a loud noise. He didn't want to merely watch. He wanted to disassemble things, learn how they functioned, and then put them back together. That curiosity, that need to understand machines, is what led him to become one of the world's most famous custom vehicle builders. Aaron's father played a significant role on his love of vehicles. His father was a mechanic who lived and breathed engines. He wasn't just mending automobiles for a living. He actually enjoyed it. Motorsports, vehicles, and trucks intrigued him. Aaron grew up with tools, grease-stained hands, and the incessant sound of motors roaring. Imagine being a child in that atmosphere. It's no surprise that he developed an interest in vehicles himself. But here's the interesting bit. Aaron learned a lot from his father, but his true enthusiasm didn't fire until he began driving. Working on a car in a garage is one thing, but getting behind the wheel and feeling the power of your creation is quite another. That's when everything changed for him. Aaron Kaufman's quest to become a world-renowned vehicle constructor did not begin in the way you might imagine. Aaron did not have the pleasure of growing up in garages full of spare automobiles to tinker with, as some youngsters do. He wasn't given expensive tools or extra vehicles to experiment with. Instead, he had to learn the hard way by repairing his own vehicles whenever they required it. Imagine being a teenager and knowing that if your automobile broke down, no one else could fix it but you. There's no mechanic, no extra cash to get it professionally repaired. Just you, your tools, and the problem in front of you. This type of hands-on exposure drove him to improve his talents quickly. And guess what? Aaron never intended to be a mechanic. If you asked a young Aaron Kaufman what he wanted to be when he grew up, he would not have replied he wanted to construct some of the world's coolest custom vehicles. Nope. His dream job was to be a park ranger. That's correct. Aaron desired a life spent in nature, surrounded by wildlife and experiencing the great outdoors. Instead of spending his days behind the hood of a car, he envisaged himself driving a rugged off-road truck through woods, climbing mountains, and defending the environment. However, life has a funny way of taking us in unanticipated directions. Even though Aaron never became a park ranger, his passion for off-roading never faded. In fact, it formed an important element of his career later on. He didn't only make automobiles that looked cool. He designed them to function, to withstand tough terrain, and to travel areas that conventional vehicles could not. Before becoming the bearded mechanical genius that people all around the world know and love, Aaron Kaufman was just a guy working in a modest garage in Dallas. He was not famous. He wasn't on television. He was just someone with a tremendous ability for disassembling things, finding out how they functioned, and then reassembling them, only better than before. Aaron met Richard Rawlings, a man with huge goals, a passion for vehicles, and a keen sense of talent, one day while working at a local Dallas garage. Rawlings had recently opened Gas Monkey Garage, a firm that specializes in converting old, worn-out cars into custom hot rods and vintage beauty. Rawlings recognized Aaron's unique qualities instantly. His abilities were not just mediocre. This guy possessed an unusual talent for vehicles. He could see a project before beginning it, and his attention to detail was unparalleled. Rawlings quickly offered him a position at Gas Monkey Garage. By 2012, Rawlings had a far greater vision. He wants to bring Gas Monkey Garage to television. He suggested the idea of a reality show about car restoration and flipping, and Discovery Channel quickly picked it up. That show got fast and raucous, and Aaron Kaufman quickly gained popularity among fans. What made him stand out? Was it the lengthy, rough beard? How could he work so calmly and focused? What mad talent enabled him to transform rusted, forgotten vehicles into jaw-dropping masterpieces? Probably all of the above. While Rawlings was the boisterous, exuberant businessman, Aaron was the calm, careful mastermind behind the construction. The two formed an unstoppable team, and Fast and Loud became a massive success. One thing that truly distinguished Aaron was his unwavering attention to his work. It was more than just a profession for him. It was his passion. and he demonstrated that in the most extreme way conceivable. Aaron had to have emergency surgery while filming. Most people now take time off to rest and recover. Not Aaron. He took barely 3 days off before returning to work. 3 days. Could you imagine? Most people wouldn't consider working following surgery, but Aaron refused to slow down. For years, Fast and Loud viewers tuned in to see Aaron Kaufman and Richard Rawlings transform unloved, discarded automobiles into breathtaking masterpieces. They were a dynamic duo. Rawlings, the quick-talking businessman, and Kaufman, the bearded mechanical genius who could revive any car. But by the end of 2016, something had changed. Fans were horrified to learn that Aaron Kaufman was departing the program. After 14 years together, Kaufman was leaving Gas Monkey Garage and Fast and Loud. Why would he leave something that was so successful? What occurred behind the scenes? Let's have a closer look. From the outside, working at Gas Monkey Garage appeared to be an ideal job, customizing automobiles, appearing on television, and establishing a name in the automotive industry. But for Aaron, reality was not as perfect as it appeared. He later admitted that the last 5 years at GMG felt like 20, indicating that the workload, stress, and creative differences had taken a heavy toll on him. That's a long time to be dissatisfied at work. The main disagreement between Kaufman and Rawlings was their very divergent visions for automobile manufacturing. Aaron aspired to construct larger, more complicated, and more powerful vehicles, but the television show had different requirements. They desired vehicles that were smaller, faster to produce, and more entertainment-friendly. Aaron later revealed in an interview with Art of Gears that he wanted to develop larger, more sophisticated cars. However, the need of television forced him to concentrate on vehicles that were much smaller and simpler. This shift in artistic approach made each project more challenging for him because it did not correspond with his vision for the types of builds he wanted to focus on. In addition to the artistic problems, Kaufman claimed to have some personal and professional issues with Rawlings. While he didn't go into great detail, he did make it plain that things weren't as easy behind the scenes as they appeared on TV. He described the scenario as being at a fork in the road. One road led to staying at Gas Monkey Garage, working under demanding conditions while feeling limited. The alternative road led him to freedom, new opportunities, new ideas, and the chance to create automobiles however he desired. Ultimately, he chose freedom. One of the most common inquiries among fans was whether there was bad blood between Kaufman and Rawlings. While Kaufman remained professional, he hinted at some friction. He didn't leave on bad terms, but there were clearly frustrations and arguments that influenced his decision. Leaving a job after 14 years is difficult, and when you have worked so closely with someone for so long, things may become complicated. When Kaufman revealed that he was quitting GMG and the show, many people, including Richard Rawlings, were stunned. Richard Rawlings, the owner of Gas Monkey Garage, eventually acknowledged that Kaufman's resignation was not his decision. He described it as entirely unexpected. Rawlings was honest about it. Losing Kaufman was not easy. He also recognized that proceeding without him would be a difficult task. After all, Kaufman wasn't simply another employee, he was a major contributor to GMG's first success. Rawlings was the businessman, the one who closed agreements and sold vehicles, but Kaufman was the master constructor who ensured those cars were legendary. Without him, GMG was forced to reconsider everything. Even though losing Kaufman was a major setback, Gas Monkey Garage had no choice but to move forward. The business had already established a global brand, and Fast and Loud remained a huge hit on Discovery Channel. The show continued without him. Richard Rawlings made it apparent that Gas Monkey Garage was more than just one man. It was a team, and the business would continue. But did it? Following Kaufman's departure, many fans and commentators predicted that Fast and Loud would never be the same. Some believed it might fail totally. Richard Rawlings was not having it. He promptly defended the rest of his crew, claiming that it was unjust to assume that Gas Monkey Garage could not work without Kaufman. In a blog post on GasMonkeyGarage.com, Rawlings admitted that losing Kaufman was a huge blow to Gas Monkey Garage, but highlighted that GMG was much more than simply one person. He stated unequivocally that it would be unfair to the rest of the staff to claim that the shop could not function without Aaron. Rawlings emphasized the hard work and dedication of everyone at Gas Monkey, claiming that the garage was built on the strength of the entire team. not just one person. Essentially, he was stating that, while losing Kaufman is unfortunate, don't forget about the rest of the hard-working team that keeps Gas Monkey functioning. With Kaufman gone, Gas Monkey Garage needed to demonstrate that it could maintain the same level of quality, originality, and excitement. They included new mechanics to assist with the builds. They worked on even larger initiatives to keep fans interested. They sought to maintain the same intensity that Kaufman brought to the presentation. But here's the deal. Fans saw a difference. While the shop still produced excellent work, something was missing. Kaufman has a distinct skill set and personality that was difficult to match. The show ran for 3 more years, but the dynamic had shifted. Some supporters remained, while others lost interest. The chemistry between Kaufman and Rawlings was part of what made the show enjoyable to watch, and without that banter and teamwork, things felt different. Fast and Loud ended in 2020. Gas Monkey Garage still exists, but the era of Fast and Loud as we know it has ended. Even though the show eventually stopped, there's no doubting that Gas Monkey Garage had a significant impact on the car industry. For years, Fast and Loud popularized custom automobile culture, introducing hot rods and restorations to millions of fans worldwide. And let's be honest, would any of this have occurred without Kaufman and Rawlings? Probably not. When Aaron Kaufman left Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage in 2017, fans wondered what came next for the bearded genius. Will he leave the car world behind? Will he disappear from television? Will he start anything new? Well, Kaufman was not ready to abandon his enthusiasm. Instead, he did something significant. He founded ArcLight Fabrication in Dallas, Texas. For years, Kaufman desired to work on larger and more sophisticated projects. However, at Gas Monkey Garage, he was frequently forced to rush through builds in order to meet the Fast and Loud deadline. That was not how he preferred to operate. So, when he finally had the opportunity to do things his way, he leaped at it. ArcLight Fabrication was more than just a vehicle business. Kaufman held a certain vision. He intended to focus on Ford F-100 pickup trucks, produce and supply aftermarket parts for them, and take his time building automobiles with the attention to detail and care he valued. Why did Kaufman choose the Ford F-100 pickup truck above other options? Kaufman has always been a fan of antique trucks, particularly those from the 1950s and 1970s. The Ford F-100 is an iconic American vehicle, but acquiring high-quality replacement parts is not always straightforward. So, Kaufman spotted an opportunity. Instead of simply fixing vintage trucks, why not manufacture the parts that truck enthusiasts require? And that is just what he did with ArcLight Fabrication. Starting his own business was not easy. Fast and Loud provided Kaufman with a full team and a large platform at Gas Monkey Garage. Now he had to start from scratch. He had to identify the suitable staff, clients, and projects. But this was Kaufman's actual interest. And, as he once stated, I'd rather do what I enjoy and take my time than rush through things solely for television. Years later, ArcLight Fabrication is still operational. Kaufman continues to do what he enjoys, working on Ford F-100s, creating bespoke parts, and building trucks the way he always wanted to. After departing Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage, many fans wondered if Aaron Kaufman would ever return to the spotlight. Kaufman did not simply walk away from television. He returned with 2 intriguing new shows, Shifting Gears with Aaron Kaufman and Aaron Needs a Job. Let's take a closer look at what these shows are about and why they're essential viewing for automobile aficionados and Kaufman lovers alike. In Shifting Gears, Kaufman returned to his origins, focusing on what he does best, fixing and modifying cars. This show isn't all about flipping automobiles for a quick profit. It's about undertaking large restoration jobs and pushing the boundaries of what an automobile can be. Kaufman assembled a hand-picked crew to assist with these builds, and the event maintained the same high-energy vibe of Fast and Loud, but with a unique twist. What distinguishes Shifting Gears is its tight connection to Kaufman's work at ArcLight Fabrication. The show takes viewers into Kaufman's own shop, where he creates custom parts and works on projects that are near to his heart, He's clearly passionate about his profession and takes delight in every automobile he fixes. And guess what? Shifting Gears received largely positive feedback from fans and critics alike. People enjoyed watching Kaufman in his environment, working on old automobiles and restoring them to life. But Kaufman didn't end with Shifting Gears. He moved on to face a completely new issue with Aaron Needs a Job. This show is completely different from his previous work. It is not simply about repairing cars. Instead, Kaufman goes throughout the country, meeting people working on innovative automotive projects. Whether he's restoring a rare old car or designing a wild custom machine, Kaufman approaches his projects with his trademark curiosity and dedication. The irony in Aaron Needs a Job is that Kaufman is more than just an expert. He is the car-building chief. But he's also trying out new employment. Working with a team of specialists and learning new techniques pushes Kaufman outside of his comfort zone, presenting him with both exciting and difficult tasks. This show has a joyful, adventurous feel that sets it apart from Shifting Gears, which is more technical. Kaufman meets a wide range of interesting people who are passionate about the automotive industry. He even gets a taste of what it's like to work outside his typical field. Both Shifting Gears and Aaron Needs a Job reveal something significant about Kaufman, his passion for cars and desire to explore new things. Kaufman applies the same intensity and passion to restoring a historic truck, pursuing a wild new project, or learning something new, as he did on Fast and Loud. So, even after leaving Gas Monkey Garage, Kaufman discovered new ways to continue doing what he enjoys, and we can now see it all unfold on television. One thing is certain, Kaufman will not slow down anytime soon, and we are all along for the trip.